uncovering the secret of my past will be nearly impossible. I'll take those odds. Meet Shadow the Hedgehog. His mysterious past holds the key to the world's future. Is he a hero or a villain? You decide. Either way, you'll have a blast. Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
Let's get into this. Welcome to the Dark Age of Sonic, or the quote-unquote Dark Age. We are doing Shadow the Hedgehog finally. I took a break from my Sonic retrospective series, and I'm back. I had to do this video before the year of Shadow ended. It's the perfect time to review this game, so let's get into it. Shadow the Hedgehog, released in 2005 for the GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2, is considered to be a dark point in the Sonic franchise, as, well, they call it the Dark Era. But I'm going to cover, is this game bad, or is it actually have any redeeming qualities? Well, we have to get into the development before we go into anything like that. And you know I like going into the development of these Sonic games. So let's rush into it. Sonic Rush, if you will. Let's go over some history bits. You can skip this part if you don't want to, but it'll be pretty short. Anyway, Shadow was created for Sonic Adventure 2, obviously. He was meant to be a one-and-done character. However, his character grew in popularity pretty much instantly, becoming one of the most popular characters in the franchise. In fact, most polls I've seen say that he's either the most favorite or the second most favorite character in the franchise. So, of course, Sega wanted to capitalize on his popularity, bringing the character back for Sonic Heroes and Sonic Battle, but also his own game. Yeah. This character went from being created for a one game only to, in less than 4 years, having his own game. One of the main ideas was taken from Sonic Adventure as well as Adventure 2. Both of these games had shooting gameplay, where you play as robotic characters or Eggman and Tails, and you shoot objects in level. They wanted to expand the idea, as Yuji Naka claimed that these were just more like a stand and shoot games, even though they weren't really. I don't know what he was talking about. Had he not played his own games? Oh well, he's in prison, so who cares? In the Sonic series, we actually don't see that many spin-offs. There was Knuckles Chaotix, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Tales of Sky Patrol, Tales of Adventure, and Tales and the Music Maker. Most of those weren't major games, only Knuckles Chaotix really considered that, and most of them have not been well received or really brought back by Sega at all. Shadow the Hedgehog's the last of these spin-off games, which is really weird since Sonic has so many characters, and Mario loves having spin-off characters of all their stuff. But oh well. This game was also made during the edgy early 2000s, and Sonic would be a main component of this edgy 2000s. Like this starter pack has fucking pixie sticks, by the way. I found that really hilarious. So Takashi Iizuka wanted to make a more edgy game, and the best character to fill that role would obviously be Shadow. So, all three of these combinations wanted to make a game based off Shadow, making a more edgy game to reference all the other edgy games that are also coming out, as well as implementing better shooting controls, is how we got this. Shadow's packing heat! One of the strangest things about this game is the fact that they let Shadow use realistic guns, which look very uncanny in a cartoonish hedgehog's hands. Even if Shadow's supposedly more cool than Sonic, which is a pretty cool character. Having him hold realistic guns, which is really ridiculous, especially since he doesn't need them. Especially since they made a statue where, of course, people would do this, where Shadow would shoot them. This statue is hilarious, and the best thing about it is that it still exists. So yeah, if you want to see this lovely Shadow statue, you gotta go to the Sega of America's headquarters. It's there, and there's so much hilarious pictures of just people getting shot by Shadow in this pose. Like, they could have had him hanging in the air, but of course they made it play it down perfectly for people to get shot at. His running this was made for E3. Because so many statue gets destroyed and stuff like that, including some Sonic ones, so it's nice just to know that this crazy-ass one is still around. Despite all its edginess, real guns, and even light swearing, Shadow the Hedgehog only has an E10 up rating. Why is that? Well, Sega was originally going to go for a T rating, which means there's even a darker version of this game out there somewhere, in a cutting room floor somewhere, meaning that, yes, there's a even more edgy version of Shadow the Hedgehog out there, which is pretty awesome. So why did they make it E10 and up? Well, that rating was just introduced at around the same time, mostly for games like Super Smash Bros. Melee and Shrek Extra Large, which for some reason got a T rating, even though they weren't really T games. They added a new rating called E10 and up, just for stuff that was kind of violent, but really fell more in the E category. Shadow the Hedgehog really feels more like a teen game, but I guess it fell into E10 and up. But that means we get to hear Sonic characters say damn a lot.
Damn, not here.
Don't let the black creature. Damn, they got away. Leave it to me. I'll chase them down.
Our chances with the tornado. Damn, only 5 minutes left. Let's hurry. Damn it! We only got 1 more minute before all the bombs go off!
Damn, we've been detected.
Where's that
damn fourth Chaos Emerald. Damn you. Shadow, damn you.
This game isn't for little kiddies. Shadow says, damn. No, I don't think damn is that bad of a word. It's like the first minor curse word, but, you know, this was edgy for the time, alright? It was edgy. Shadow the Hedgehog had the oddest marketing campaign in Japan, where it was marketed in a random wrestling event with a life-size Shadow mascot who was just there, as long as Shadow's logo all over the ring. And apparently, people like Yuji Naka and Takashi Iizuka are there just talking about, yeah, Sonic didn't have martial arts before this, but now he does, or something like that. It's like, what the hell is going on here? All I can say about this boxing match is that Shadow probably won. Despite all this great marketing campaign, Shadow the Hedgehog was not received very well when it first came out. Even to this day it isn't, though it has gained a bit of a following in recent years, especially since Sega seems to be acknowledging it a bit more. But people were just not really into the gunplay, the odd dark tone. Even though Sonic games were getting a little darker around this point, this felt a little bit too much at the time. Also, people just weren't that crazy about controls. But I'm going to take a look at all of this right when we get to the gameplay element. But there's one last thing that was controversial at the time, not so much anymore, but it's about voice actors. In 2003, Sega released an anime called Sonic X that they hoped would bring Sonic's brand more awareness across the globe. The show ended up bombing in Japan, however it did incredibly successful in America, running for around 3 seasons, and they had a brand new voice cast, mostly because it was translated by 4Kids, and 4Kids likes to use their in-house voice actors rather than using outsourced ones. This is despite the fact that the Sonic's main voice wanted to be in Sonic X, but oh well. Sega decided that they wanted the brand cohesion to not be different, even though Sonic X wouldn't be ending pretty soon, actually, since they said 3 seasons. So they decided to have every voice cast from Sonic X to be in the games from now on. Though one of the reasons why this was done, because Eggman's current voice actor, Dean Bristow, passed away unfortunately in between games, so it made sense to replace him. And after all, his voice replacement would still be the one that we have today, being Mike Pollock. But let's get into some of their voice actors and a little comparison to the previous ones. This voice actor change didn't affect the other releases. Like Japanese release had every single same voice actor and would have the same voice actors in current day. However, America's voice line likes to change up a bit at a time. I don't know why they do it. It's kind of annoying, especially for those of you who are attached to certain voice actors. People have wars about it because they happen around the same time period and each one's unique. So this is why it's kind of an issue. But we'll see, are the 4Kids voice actors any good? Our new voice for Sonic and Shadow, replacing Ryan Drummond and David Humphrey, is Jason Griffith, who become one of the most popular ones, seeing as he voiced 2 of the main characters, including other additional roles. He's actually a pretty talented voice actor, and I'm a big fan of both his Sonic and Shadow. Not as much as the previous ones, but for a second place, it's not too bad.
Hey, Shadow. Long time no see.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Why does that name haunt me? It's the only thing I can remember.
His Sonic voice doesn't start off too well, especially in Shadow the Hedgehog, where Sonic feels a little goofy and a little out of character compared to some of the other characters, but it definitely grows over time. As it goes over time, he really gets into the role, though as oddly enough, when he gets more into the role, he sounds more like Ryan Drummond, which is why they shouldn't replace him in the first place. His Shadow's been widely praised, some people even wanting him to be the main voice of Shadow in the new movie. Of course, he turned out to not be in it, but that's how much people like it. I am one of those people who prefer David Humphrey getting the character. However, Jason Griffin has said my Shadow voice ranking is a close second, being capturing the role pretty perfectly and didn't really have to change much as it went by, even though his first outing was a little edgy, obviously. For Eggman's new voice actor, we have Mike Pollock, who is most known for voicing a character in Squirrel and Hedgehog.
Just a minute. I can defend the little squirrel.
For some reason, the 4Kids voice casts were always in the weirdest stuff, like weird North Korean dubs. Did anyone else know what Squirrel and Hedgehog is? Look it up. It's awful. I'm going out of pocket now, but there's a Ratatouille ripoff called Ratatouille, and a lot of these other video recreated stuff will have just the voice cast of Sonic X there.
I'm getting no rest. I've never seen it so busy. Idiots. They're destroying everything. How can I take over the city and build the Eggman Empire if there is no city?
Other than a weird Twitter thing, which I think was a hacking thing, Mike Pollock is definitely one of the best of these voice actors. Pretty much capturing the villainy of Eggman pretty well. In fact, even doing better than the previous ones, which is rare for me to say, since I like the old voice cast the best. The adventure cast, oh yeah. Mike Pollock was obviously the best one, since he's the only one that stuck around to this very day, being the longest running English voice cast of all the Sonic characters. Good for him.
You know what they say, the more the merrier.
Amy's new voice actor will be Lisa Ortiz.
Oh, Shadow, I'm so glad you're here. Queen went into this weird-looking castle and she hasn't come back out.
A lot of people think Ortiz is one of the best Amy voice actresses, and I can't blame them. I'm slightly biased to the previous Jennifer I don't even know her last name, but you know who I'm referring to. I think that fit a little bit better, but Ortiz does a pretty good job as Amy, and she does fit the mannerisms of the character pretty well. And unfortunately, she didn't return, and I'm not a big fan of the current Amy voice actor, but I'll get to that when we get to that way down the line. Our new Tails voice actor is Amy Pallant, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but it does an alright job.
It's that! It's Eggman's theme park! He made it out of the rings he's taken from around the world!
The whole time I could tell that Tails doesn't really sound like he's a little boy anymore, and it obviously sounds like an adult woman, which isn't a bad thing. It makes sense practically speaking, but I've heard a lot better do it, and like realizing, wait, that was actually a woman doing the voice the whole time. You know, your stuff like Timmy Turner and Bart Simpson characters where you just don't even know. Even like anime characters like Ash Ketchum, where that you just don't know. A lot of the female Tails voice actors, while they do a good job in their emotional wise and actually being consistent, a lot of times they have the problem where it just doesn't even sound like it's supposed to be a little boy. Which, you know, I guess is a problem, but it's not that big a deal. I talked over this more in my Tails voice actor ranking video, so if you want to go see more of my opinion on that, go check out there. For Knuckles' voice actor, and sometimes Vector, not in this game, we have Dan Green, who does an alright job as Knuckles, but his other voice performances in the Sonic franchise I think are actually better, oddly enough.
Hey, Shadow! You saw him too, didn't you? Those black creatures floating around?
He gets part of the character, but it's a little too gruff for me. He doesn't have much else going on there. He doesn't have any of that little bit of chillness that Knuckles had in the previous installments. It's a good voice, but I think it's a little bit lacking in why I prefer it in the previous Knuckles voice actor. It's probably better than the one in Adventure, but compared to the... What's the guy's name? I'm bad at names, but Dan Green, good job. You're really good at playing Mephiles, but other than that, your Knuckles is just okay. Anyway, Rouge the Bat's new voice actor is Kathleen Delaney, I believe I've said that right, who gives a, what do you expect Rouge to sound like?
Hey Shadow, Gun has driven the black aliens into this jungle. Do you want to join me in helping Gun round up the last of them?
Technically speaking, when you look at Rouge the Bat, the voice that Kathleen gives sounds more accurate to what you expect from the character. I'm a little bit more biased. I actually prefer the previous voice actors' more unique voice. It's not as stereotypical as you expect. It's not as sultry, but I think some people prefer Kathleen's just because it sounds more like how the character looks. But I kind of like that for the previous voice actor, how it was kind of more unique and gave her more character other than the fact that she's a sexy bat, which is just a weird character to have in Sonic to begin with, but whatever, Rouge is still cool. I guess I would talk about the other Sonic voice actors, but who the heck cares? Omega sounds exactly the same and he has a different voice actor. The KX aren't that main of a character to even worry about, especially since some that will be changed out. But I guess we'll go over the main villain's voice. Sean Schemmel, I'm not sure if I said that right, is the voice of Black Doom. He was only a minor character voice in Sonic X, being one of the voices of the Meta-Rex. He's mostly known for voicing Goku in Dragon Ball. That's a pretty neat fact. He actually re-auditioned to voice the character again in the new Sonic game, but he was rejected for some reason. So you got weird priorities.
As you can see, the day of reckoning will soon be here. Find the 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Black Doom is kind of a generic-looking bad guy with an evil, deep voice. He's just the evil main villain, who I guess Shadow can also go with if he wants. We'll get into Black Doom to get into the story and gameplay more. However, a lot of people don't know this, but he, like some other Sonic characters, actually has Knights inspirations. You see, Knights was the game Sonic Team worked on, and of course I like Knights a lot. And a lot of the character designs and inspirations actually came in Knights before that. Like Shadow and the Chow were based off previous characters from Knights, loosely. And that goes for Black Doom as well. The character Wise Man from Knights is actually very similar in design and role as Black Doom is. So, there you go, there's a fun fact for you. So yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog is a little controversial now, seeing as Sega is going back a little bit to some of the elements from this game, as well as meme culture kind of liking this game, as Shadow still remains a very popular character, and of course his game is going to be noteworthy. Does this game have any relevance? Did it ruin characters? Did it help destroy elements of the franchise? Or is there stuff that's actually worth looking back into? Well, let's take a look. Shadow the Hedgehog is a very strange structure for a Sonic game. It's a multiple path game, which is only in this style game. What that means is that depending on what route you take during a level, you can end up going on a neutral, hero, or dark path. Now this is unique, but also the biggest detriment to this game, I fully believe. The story is kind of inconsistent because of these multiple different pathways. Things won't make sense if you go down the neutral path. Things will make more sense as you go along. but the game requires you to complete every single one of these paths in order to get the full story, which is kind of annoying because there's no set, clear one, which can make following whatever the mess of the story is kind of complicated. Going the normal path is what most people are going to do, since it's basically go to point A to point B, much like a regular Sonic game. However, the story will make zero sense if you do this, but you're still required to do it if you want to get to the final level. The game requires you to get all 10 endings in order to get to the final last story, like much other Sonic games, but those are different when they're actually just character-based and not the same storyline, just slightly different for each one. This means you have to play the first stage, Westopolis, 10 different times in order to get the final ending. Luckily, Westopolis isn't that bad of a stage to play through, but it can be a little annoying to play the same stage 10 times in a row. Well, not really in a row, because you're going to be playing different stages, but you know what I mean. This actually ended up being my biggest problem with this game. I liked elements of the story, but because it's split up between so many different things, and having to replay certain story parts over and over again in order to get new ones, is kind of annoying. I know it's like finding a piece of a puzzle, but there's only one final ending, meaning there's only one true route. So the best way I feel like it would have been to do was just have 3 routes without any replaying levels. We all 3 completely different routes you choose from the very beginning. It will be bad, neutral, or good. You play for each of those sets of levels with consistent storylines. At the end, you can find some way to merge all of them into one main shadow. I don't know, there's some probably way, like Black Doom merges all the 3 story elements, so he has all his memories from each of those paths. That could have been more interesting, in my opinion, rather than just have storylines that make no sense and just having to worry about weird pathways. The game would have been more focused that way, but either way, that's what we get. In case you're wondering, the map kind of looks like this to get a good example of what the differences between each of the storyline paths are. As you can see, there's quite a lot going on here. In order to go for each of the levels here, which I played through twice, you have to go up or down. Neutral is the easiest one to go through, and you have to go down hero twice, 2 hero different paths, and 2 different dark paths, as well as each one of those last 5 levels having 2 different endings. The funnest thing about that, or the funniest thing I should say, is that even if you choose the perfect hero path, you can choose to be a jackass at the end and go villain, and have to fight the main characters here, which I don't know why that's funny. Same thing happens in the dark path, you go completely villain, but at the end you're like, fuck you Black Doom, you fight Black Doom. I don't know why, but I really like that a lot. In case you're wondering, how do you go for each of these different pathways? Well, you gotta follow the missions. There are 3 different missions, and usually, sometimes there are only 2, depending on which level you're on. So, for example, in Westopolis, you have 3 different missions. One is the one that most people are going to do the first time, which is go to the goal with the nice big old ring and a caster on one side. Or you can go with Sonic here, who's right there at the very beginning, tell you to kill every one of the aliens. Or you can go with Black Doom, and he'll tell you to kill all the gun soldiers. Whichever one you do, depends on which path you go. If you do a hero path, you go down to the hero route. You can go down again for the last one, too. That's up to you. But you can also go up again if you want to. So it depends on what you want to do. However, like I said, it doesn't really matter the end, because, like I said, you need to go all 10 if you want to get the actual true ending, so it does matter in the end. Most of these paths aren't too difficult to do, however, some of them can be a pain in the ass and take forever. Like, for example, this level where you have to kill all the artificial chaoses. It took me 30 minutes to go for this entire level looking for these damn things. Though Shadow has a lot of good tricks up his sleeves in order to deal with all of these enemies and stuff he has to kill. Shadow plays mostly as he did in previous games. It's based off the Sonic Heroes engine, which you can obviously tell by the models here, but there's also new mechanics, like the guns. Now, in games, the guns aren't that as ridiculous as it looks in the cutscenes, where, pre-rendered Shadow holding a realistic gun. It's kind of ridiculous, but in game, it doesn't really affect much. In fact, it works pretty smoothly. Shadow has all his moves. He can spin dash again, unlike in Sonic Heroes, as well as doing his homing attack, and all the other good stuff. You can do a little slide, which is useless. But the guns add a bit more diversity to the game. He can now shoot different enemies while running, and it's actually pretty useful since a lot of enemies have health bars. Surprisingly enough, I think the gun mechanics are actually implemented incredibly well to the game. It's fun to pick up new guns, see which ones work the best. The aliens have their own unique, very weird shaped guns. You can hit enemies to get more. There's some unique crates. You can unlock more by completing the story, and shadow boxes, which have like weird guns, like the Elmo Chow gun and the whatever the hell Billy Hatcher gun is. But yeah, it is fun to mess around with it, but you can always just play the game normally. You can even jump into enemies if you want to do that, but it's best to use a gun during certain areas because, they're very useful. The game takes a little bit more time to get used to than some of the previous Sonic games, but once I got used to it, I actually felt the game ran pretty well, honestly. At first, I did not like the controls. Even as a kid, I thought it was just really awkward. However, it's one of those things you gotta get used to, which, you know, it's not the best way to do a game, especially since I think the previous Sonic games had better controls, but his homing attack's a little different. You gotta wait to time it out in order to get the most profitable way of hitting certain enemies. He has a little animation you want to complete all the way through. Once you get used to his a little bit slippery controls, I think it controls better than Sonic Heroes, which I actually had the exact opposite experience as this game. Sonic Heroes is a game I grew up and loved playing a lot, but the last playthrough I did not care for that much. Shadow the Hedgehog, I had as a kid, I did not care for it, barely even playing it for most part, because I didn't think it didn't do much for me. However, this playthrough, I thought it actually played pretty well, even though some of the elements were kind of annoying. That also has to do with knowing things that were in Sonic Heroes but aren't in Shadow the Hedgehog. For the most part, you have a lot of checkpoints, meaning that your progress doesn't get ruined as much, and these levels seem a lot smaller than the ones in Sonic Heroes, meaning that you don't have to worry about as much getting A-ranks. If you want to get them, they're a lot easier to get, since most of the time you just do a certain path, though each path, if you want to do 100%, requires you to do 3 different A-ranks. What's also good is that you don't lose your power if you die, which is a thing I really hate in Sonic Heroes, where you have to upgrade your character slowly, and then you lose all that if you die. There is certain things like that in this game, but they work a lot better. You lose your gun, sure, but you're already going to lose your gun anyway, since it has limited ammo. So with that and generous checkpoints, I think this game isn't as bad in that regard compared to Sonic Heroes. Instead of that awful upgrade system in Sonic Heroes, we have 2 new bars, a red and a blue bar. The red one fills up if you kill hero enemies like gun soldiers. The blue one fills up if you kill bad enemies like Eggman's robots, or for I had a brain fart there, the black arms. Now, if you do each one of these, you get a pretty cool power up that allows you to get infinite ammo with both, but also allows you to do additional attacks. Filling your blue bar up allows you to do chaos control, which allows you to zip through a level pretty fast, especially useful for normal levels, though it can be a little detrimental during some hero stages, which of course you're going to need to use this if you want to get through all that stuff. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. But yeah, it also freezes bosses in the place if you use it on a boss. When your red mirror gets filled up, you can do a Chaos Blast. Though you might not want to do it because, like I said, you get infinite ammo. Chaos Blast just creates a giant explosion in the radius, and I can't find good footage of a Chaos Blast being used, but you know what it is. These are fun little rewards to a game that I actually think is not bad. Which is the point I'm going to make in this video. You can not like Shadow the Hedgehog, but I found after actually completing it for the first time today, not really today, but I actually did when I'm recording this, I actually completed it and I decided to record it. But yeah, I actually think that Shadow the Hedgehog is not a bad game. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but I did have a lot of fun playing it. I had fun completing the puzzles of all the little levels, and actually going through each of the missions wasn't too bad. And actually I had found there's quite a lot of charm to the game, and uniqueness. Its edginess has a unique charm to it that it's kind of hard to describe, but I know those who probably like this game know what I'm talking about. Oh, there is this one thing in this game that I didn't mention because it's so minuscule, is that there are vehicles in this game. Now, the vehicles, for the most part, aren't really that noteworthy. I feel like they're just part of the level. For example, this spinning top, which allows you to go through slime. And that's fine and all. You wouldn't really expect that not in a Sonic game. There's also other things in here, too. This game introduced Shadow's love of motorcycles that he would continue to drive to this day. I don't really understand this. This is part of the thing. They had, we'll have vehicles, too. Now, most of the vehicles you see are going to be this like mech machine or that spinning top. In 2 levels, Lethal Highway and Westopolis, you can have 2 other vehicles. They're useless. I can't even get footage of it because no one wants to even go into it. And I don't have one of myself doing it either. So yeah, no one likes the motorcycle, but people thought, hey, he looks cool. It's all over the intro, but it's only in 1 level, and it's so easy to miss. Plus, if you get on it, you realize, wait, this is actually worse than just running, and you can't get off it easy. So yeah, that's a downvote for me, but you're not even going to notice these things are in the game. So here you go, Shadow on a bicycle holding a gun. Alright. So yeah, there's a lot of vehicle stuff, including rideable weird bat things that part of the black arms here as Shadow's riding them. These are pretty cool, actually. They're not the best control-wise, but you know, they're fun. There's also a lot of edgy music that'll play when the credits. There's different credit songs for each path you take, and each of them reek the 2000s. Now, personally, I love this style of music. It just, I don't know, it gets me going. Especially I Am All Me, which is a great track. In fact, most of the tracks are here good. So I'm going to talk about them a little bit more. I Am All Me is a great theme for the song, and it opens up with a great pre-rendered cutscene. You know, it is really cheesy, especially when Shao kills Sonic at the end. But the song is great, it even plays during the final boss. That is if you can hear it over Shadow spamming the Chaos Spear button. For the hero, true hero endings, we get All Hail Shadow, which is a pretty famous song as it will be recovered by Crush 40 in the next Sonic game for Shadow's main theme. And it still persists as Shadow's main theme, and it's pretty awesome. This version not as much, though. I like the Crush 40 version better. The normal hero route, which is the one before True Hero, is the chosen one, which is a song I actually like. It fits the bittersweetness of the neutral hero endings, which I actually like quite a lot, actually. They're probably my favorite endings. We'll get to that when we get to that. Waking Up, which is the Neutral Path song, is as the Neutral Path is. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's robotic, because Shadow's a robot. For both dark endings, there's no two different dark songs, unlike Hero, which showcases though they really want you to do Hero, but whatever, is Almost Dead, and you almost feel almost dead listening to the guy screech about being dead. Actually, I kind of like it. It's cheesy as hell, but I kind of like it. The last song is Never Turn Back. The final credits roll, so after the final story. This is the Crush 40 song, and like every other Crush 40 song, it rocks the shit. Also, it has this very sad piano opening, which plays I Am All Me on the piano. Pretty neat. Yeah, this song's great. I actually really like the soundtrack to Shadow the Hedgehog. The level themes aren't as good as previous installments like Sonic Adventure 2 or Heroes. However, there are some pretty good ones here and there, and some of them just are nice. Though they're nothing too special with the tracks, the actual soundtrack is pretty good, and Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the other Sonic games that actually has a good soundtrack. I mean, what do you expect? Speaking of tracks, there are actually like a couple reused tracks. Like, randomly, during some cutscenes, you'll hear This Adventure 2 track.
Looks like those black creatures are headed out to space. We're on.
Of course, I can recognize this track. It was a very famous scene in Sonic Adventure 2 it was used in. There's a couple other ones too, not a whole lot, but there is some reused Sonic Adventure 2 elements. While it could be considered cheap, there's reused models and elements from Sonic Adventure 2. I already talked about the Heroes reused models. However, as you can see here, this is the exact layout from a Sonic Adventure 2 level. Pretty famous one at that. But yeah, I don't mind it since it is that area, so I guess it makes sense to reuse those models. Though it is weird to see Heroes model Tails ride the Adventure 2 Tornado model, or I guess Tornado 3 now. It looks exactly the same as Tornado 2, but whatever. The only return character that doesn't have the same model is Rouge. Well, she mostly has the same model. However, they gave her the Heroes model, basically the outfit of the Adventure 2 Rouge, because I mentioned it before how they wanted to change Rouge's outfit to be less sexy, but they ended up messing it up, I guess. So they brought it back. However, it's a lot more purple in Shadow the Hedgehog as it is in future games. Like, yeah, her whole outfit's like purple. I should probably talk about the levels now, shouldn't I? Well, let's get into it. It's been 50 years since the Black Comet first appeared in the skies, and now everyone's like, wow, can't wait to see it again. Unknowingly, Shadow's also 50 years old, so this has something to do with his past. See, Shadow, he doesn't remember anything.
And you can't remember anything, can you?
I mentioned this in my Heroes review, but this shows how much of a bitch Rouge is. She's not supposed to be a bitch. I mean, she is kind of sly. But, she purposely just doesn't tell Shadow his past. Maybe she doesn't know that he's a robot or not. He's not, by the way, because you couldn't guess. But Shadow's like, I don't know who I am, and my friend Rouge didn't tell me jack shit. Even from the beginning of this game, it's clear that this is the real Shadow, since he has memories of the Ark encounter, which would make no sense if Eggman programmed that into his mind. Like, how would he know the exact ramifications of this event? Anyway, while Shadow's brooding around, aliens T-pose from the sky and start attacking Westopolis here, destroying their brand new 2005 cars.
Look how pathetic they are. I don't have time for these humans.
Wow, what a dick! Then this evil starfish showcases this evil alien, and it's like, I can help you, Shadow, if you bring me 7 Chaos Emeralds. Shadow decides to trust this obviously evil alien. Well, maybe, it depends on what you view. But he's like, I got to trust him, because like it or not, he knows about my past.
What was that all about? If he says he knows the truth about who I am, then like it or not, I have to believe him.
What makes this funny is that he has contact with pretty much every other Sonic character, even in this game. He just acts them. He doesn't. They seem to know him from my past, but oh well, I won't ask them about that. This is kind of the main plot hole of this game, if you couldn't guess. Like, the first thing he sees when he gets into the city is Sonic, who's all buddies with Shadow. He's, like, not even wants to be a rival of Shadow in this game, which is kind of funny. He's like, yeah, Shadow, I'll help you out. Even, I can totally tell you about some of your past, since I know most of it, but I'm just gonna fight these aliens. I guess it makes sense for Sonic to be doing that. But Shadow could easily ask this guy, who seems pretty competent at fighting aliens and all the other stuff, like, who seems to know him pretty well. He's like, hey, did you know about my past? Yeah, sure, buddy. You were created by this evil guy, you know, but you're a good guy. You helped me save the day. But, well, apparently not. Anyway, our first level is Westopolis, a destroyed city on the brink of destruction. Well, it's not destroyed, it's being destroyed by a bunch of aliens. And we have a bunch of gun soldiers, which is pretty cool to see them again. On the street, you can also kill them, but you can't really kill them because you can kill the aliens, but the gun soldiers, if you hit them, they'll just be like, ugh, and fall on the ground with their hands up in the air. You can take their guns, though, that's pretty cool. Westopolis is a pretty basic level. There's nothing too extraordinary about it. You just, like, kill the enemies or go to the end level. It's pretty basic, nothing too dangerous here. There are a few bottomless pits, but nothing too serious. So you can go to three different pathways here, as I mentioned in the beginning. So nothing new interesting here. Just kill a bunch of aliens or kill a bunch of gun soldiers. It's easier to kill the gun soldiers than the aliens. Keep that in mind. Some of those bats are actually hide in plain sight, so they're very annoying. Screw those bats. But yeah, the main guy, aliens, there's not much to say about the villain roster other than what we have right here. We have gun soldiers, we have those big alien goons who are pretty easy to take out, and we have little bat guys who act like homing attack things. We also got the return of the gun beetles, who basically work as they did before. It's nothing new there. So for this review, I'm going to be covering the normal route first, because that's the route that pretty much everyone will take. And then we'll go for dark, then true dark, and then hero, and then true hero. Alright, let's get into it.
Once I find all of the emeralds, then I'll find the truth.
By the way, look at the map of the Sonic world. What the hell is going on here? Why did Africa look like someone put a swirl tool on it? Like, what's going on there? It's an island now. Like, India's giant. Oddly enough, Japan seems to be in the Americas now. And Antarctica's all the way up in the north. Is there two Indias now? Look, I realize, like, what? What's going on here? What happened to Europe? Jeez, what happened to America? Where am I? Where's my state? I don't know. What's going on? Where's New Zealand? Where is New Zealand? Is that Antarctica on the top right, or is that Australia? Is it stretching out like Russia does on a map, but all the way up in the north? Is that like a frozen tundra now? Like, what's going on? Why does South America look like Greenland? Why is there like an island that Africa is now hugging? Like, what's going on? What the hell happened in the Sonic world? Anyway, we get to see more of Gun in this game. We know about Gun from Sonic Adventure 2. We get to see their commander. And their commander, you already know what type of character this guy is going to be. He's the hard military type who hates Shadow for some reason. He also has heterochromia for some reason. This character is actually kind of popular online, even though he only appears in this one game. It makes sense. This character would fit pretty well in future Sonic games. But, whatever. In this game, he only exists here, and yeah, he's really weird.
Shadow?
I don't know why, but the way he says Shadow cracks me up. Like, Shadow?
Shadow?
So this cutscene exists to showcase that now the gun troops will shoot at Shadow. Kind of. They kind of suck at their job. They're pretty easy enemies, and they don't really affect you. Sometimes they won't even shoot at me, for the most part. This is also kind of a problem with the game, is that the enemies will try to attack you no matter what. Now, this isn't too bad, as we explained that one cutscene, the gun soldiers now shoot you, even if they don't really do it for the most part. In some levels, they don't really get in the way, but they still can't hurt you. However, the Black Doom's army is just always attacking Shadow, no matter what path you are on. Even if you're the most dark path there is, they will still attack you. In fact, most of the time you'll need to be hitting them for certain chains, like homing attack chains. And the character whoever you're with, you're hitting one, the gun beetle or a little bat guy, they'll be like, Shadow, why did you kill one of our own? Like, I need to fucking kill him so I can cross the path, you fucking dingus. Make it easier for me to cross if you don't want me to kill one of the guys. Hey, Shadow, they're on our side! Well, fuck the gun beetles, they fucking suck ass. Anyway, we're taking the normal path. Shadow doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and getting the Chaos Emeralds. This is off Black Doom decides to send him to a different location just because he's like, you can't disobey me, Shadow. He's like, whatever, I do what I want. This will send you to Glyphic Canyon, the normal route past Westopolis. This is a pretty basic zone. It's pretty linear. Most levels actually are pretty linear, but this one in particular feels pretty linear. Basically, you're running on ancient sky ruins, basically, and of course, there's still battles going on between the Golden Soldiers and the Black Arms here. You got two options here, well, three options actually. Keep continuing the neutral route by just going to the end of the level, or you can kill all the Black Arms with Knuckles here, which is pretty neat. Or you can do these like things where you unlock some secret power, but whatever. If you're already in this level, you're most likely going to do the neutral route anyway, so we're just going to keep with the neutral route.
Hey, Shadow! You saw him too, didn't you?
So actually, you should point something out about this game that I actually kind of like a lot. In each level, as you probably can tell from the first one and this one, is that each time you have 2 partners you can choose from. Pretty much it's either Black Doom or sometimes, very rarely, Eggman for the Dark Path. And if you're Hero Path, you get to play around with, well, a bunch of the Sonic characters. And pretty much every Sonic character is here from the previous game, since they're just able to reuse models. So I'm not the big problem with reusing models, because this game has a lot of new assets. It's just reusing models for stuff that, makes sense. It doesn't really bother it that much. If you're like a novice, you won't even notice that these are all the Sonic Heroes models, except for Shadow's models stretched out a lot. What's cool about this is that if you have a second controller, and the second player can actually play as whatever character it is. Well, not Black Doom or Eggman, since they're just floating starfish or floating monitor. But yeah, if you want to like hit and help out your player 1, hit enemies and stuff like that, you can as Sonic, Knuckles, Amy, Tails, and so on and so forth. And that's a pretty cool feature that a lot of people probably don't even know about, because it's not really laid out for you right there. It's pretty cool. It goes back to Sonic 2 days when the second player would just run around as Tails helping you out. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. Plus, it's just nice to have characters interact with Shadow, since we don't usually see that. We see characters interact with Sonic all the time, but having each unique character have a different reaction and interaction with Shadow is pretty fun to do, even though Shadow doesn't really react to them. But they do say a lot of interesting stuff. It makes the game actually a lot more fun to play as, and I always have, even if I'm doing the dark missions, I always try to have at least somebody following me, just because it's fun to see their reactions to stuff.
Help! We're being sucked in!
I take orders from no one.
Following this, we get a cutscene of the President of the United States. Basically. I mean, what else would this be? Sonic is supposed to be American, so I guess it doesn't make sense. I mentioned that in my previous reviews, so don't ask about it. Sonic is the personality of Bill Clinton. Look it up. Anyway, the President is all sad because there's aliens attacking his country. That's why. Also, for some reason, the President has a picture of Sonic and Shadow. He doesn't have a picture of any other presidents or his family. He has a picture of Sonic and Shadow posing outside the White House. I don't know where this picture came from, because it's not after Sonic Adventure 2, because Shadow was dead at that point. So is it Sonic Heroes? Because there's a lot more characters that helped out during that fight, I guess. But even then, Sonic Adventure 2 also had that problem. But at the same time, like, where the fuck does this picture come from? And why does the President have it right next to his desk? Is he that big a fan of these hedgehogs? Who the world may never know. Wait, here's the real thing. Maybe he needed help unclogging his toilet, and Sonic and Shadow were there to unclog his toilet, and he's just so happy about that day that he keeps a picture of them just to remember that day. Sorry, this picture's fucking hilarious. Just Sonic's like, yeah, and Shadow's like, ugh, in front of the White House. It looks like a vacation picture they took, and the president for some reason has it in his office. I don't know why this cracks me up. The problem with a lot of these cutscenes, especially in the neutral cuts path, is that the gun soldier and the president really have nothing to do with his path, because later on you're going to switch gears entirely to something different, which is, like I said, a problem in this game I mentioned earlier. But like, you say, oh, what's going to happen with this stuff? Nothing. You have to find out the other pathways. That's kind of lame. Alright, our next neutral stage is Prison Island from Sonic Adventure 2. Shadow's warped here after getting the Chaos Emerald, and he starts to have flashbacks of his past.
What? That's right. I somehow escaped, but was then captured by those humans. But from where? And why?
As you can see, they use screenshots from Sonic Adventure 2 here, which, like I said, I don't mind. In fact, we're going to see something that's pretty cool from Sonic Adventure 2. This level, you might not have recognized it, but it is Prison Island for Sonic Adventure 2. However, as you can probably see, it's now all run over since it got exploded the last time we saw it. I actually really like Shadow the Hedgehog for that aspect, is that it really tries to follow up on the previous game's adventures here, which is pretty neat. With the alternate pathways, you can see some more of Sonic's world. It feels more fleshed out. Unfortunately, later games just really don't do this as much, so it's nice to see it here. However, there is one big thing that some fans have noticed, and then Takashi Iizuka tried to defend, but failed pretty bad at it. Pretty famously, Eggman blows up part of the moon. So you think, oh, in this game, it's following all the events of Sonic Adventure 2, we would see the moon is partly destroyed. But at the beginning of the game, in the intro, we get to see a giant moon. Like, geez Louise, what the hell is going on? The moon's going to crash into the Earth there. But as you can see, the moon is not missing half of it, which really wasn't half of it. Amy, you're wrong about that. And their reasoning is, oh, the moon just flipped the other way around. I mean, I'm not going to question it much because it's obviously just stylistic, but I think it's funny they had to, like, they came back like, oh, actually, it's flipped around. So technically, I'm not sure if you ever see the moon in any other Sonic game like this, but is the moon still blowing up partly, or did the gun repair it or something like that? I would like to know this. This is stuff I want to know. This is the least important things that I want to know. Then again, they talked about how it's quote-unquote flipped over. By the way, the real question is, why is the moon so close to Earth? Jeez Louise. Anyway, on Prison Island, we have two paths. We can either follow Black Doom and kill all the 40 gun soldiers.
Hey, Shadow. I gotta ask you something. Vector told me that he wants me to find 5 top secret discs. But what's a top secret disc?
Obviously, the more easy path is with Charmy B here, who wants to find a top secret disc. Now, the Chaotix are actually doing their own mission if you follow along their path. You know, it's kind of hard to follow on their path because each of their paths does not correlate easily. However, you will find SBO, Charmy, and Vector throughout the game. And of course, they're actually trying to find the computer room. You wouldn't think these characters are that important to the game, like, oh, they're just doing their own little side mission. But turns out, their side mission is actually vital to the plot, which I think is kind of hilarious. Because at the very end, they give secret information that helps Shadow win the battle, which is actually kind of hilarious when you think about it.
Find the computer room!
And the funny thing about this is that technically Shadow has more interactions with the Chaotix than Sonic himself, as well as Knuckles. Sonic has pretty much never interacted with any of the Chaotix in any of the main games, which is actually kind of weird when you think about it. Like, seriously. And of course in the comics he has, but in the games themselves he really hasn't, other than his birthday party, which says a lot. See, the Prison Island's a pretty fun level, especially cool how it is just an overrun version of a previous level we played in Sonic, which is really cool to see. A lot of level will be on this top. We're going through over this sludge, this toxic waste. However, extra control is pretty fun, and you got these nice little springs that you can take little shortcuts with. It's a pretty good stage. However, it is going to be over pretty soon since we're taking the neutral path, and the neutral path is pretty easy.
I found it. The 4th ammo.
Eggman is watching this from his command prompt, and he's getting pissed off that the aliens are taking over the world because that's his job, so he sends all his egg pawns out to attack.
Charge!
Now, somehow, Shadow is on a Sky base. Don't ask. Sometimes the continuity works, sometimes it doesn't. For the neutral path, it doesn't. Black Doom's like, yeah, Shadow, we're friends again, I guess. The next level is Sky Troops, which is very similar to Glyphic Canyon, except I guess it's more Sky Base than before. Here we have two paths: Black Doom, destroy Eggman's egg fleet, or Eggman, which is to power up certain things. Now, what's funny about this one is that this is the only mission where Eggman is actually considered the good guy, which is pretty funny. Like, he's actually the hero path here. That's kind of hilarious to just think about that.
Oh, Shadow! That's me running into you here! There's got to be some kind of peculiar power source that's keeping these ruins afloat!
This level is the first level I can talk about this mech thing. It's kind of slow, but it has a good amount of ammo and allows its Shadow to jump super high. It's not too useful, and there's another version of it later on. But for the most part, Sky Troops is mostly the same as Glyphic Canyon, so not much to say here.
You're not getting away from me this time, Doctor.
Next, Shadow transports into Eggman's base in the jungle, where he
Huh? What the? How can this be? Who are you?
Listen up, Shadow androids. The Eggman fleet is strong, but those black creatures are a formidable adversary. I must return to the base to devise a new plan.
Shadow? Android? Am I an android too?
So yeah, Shadow thinks he's an android. The question is he? Take a look at these Shadow androids. They are low poly as fucking hell. That's the difference between them and Shadow. So obviously, Shadow is not an android. This question is pretty much automatically rendered null. I mean, we did see these army before in Sonic Heroes. However, they actually look like Shadow. These guys look like Shadow, but they're low poly. So obviously, they are not the same as Shadow we're playing as. So that question that was raised in Sonic Heroes is immediately void, but Shadow believes it anyway, in this path only. This is Iron Jungle. Now, if you want to follow Eggman's path, you gotta defeat the 28 gun soldiers. But there's another guy here too.
My name.
Are you the original? If you are searching for Eggman, he's fleeing aboard his airship, the Egg Balloon.
So Omega's up to his usual stuff. He wants to defeat Eggman like he did in Sonic Heroes. And he's only in this one little neutral path here, too. So if you like Omega, unfortunately, this is the only time you're going to find him. He's not even in the end of the game like the other characters. Because Omega really only cares about destroying Eggman. He's kind of a funny character that way. This level introduces his enemies known as Shadow Androids, and they are incredibly annoying because they shoot missiles from their hands. Obviously, Shadow can't do that, so I have no idea why he believes he's an android unless he's like the best version of the android. The world may never know. But remember, Shadow only cares about getting Chaos Emeralds during this route, so of course that's what we're going to be doing. For Iron Jungle, you want to do the hero mission, which is Omega, like I mentioned. You actually have a time limit, because Eggman's balloon is flying away, and it's only there for a certain amount of time. This level is kind of interesting because there's a lot of different pathways you can take here, alternate routes. There's actually quite a few alternate routes in this game, actually. But this level has a lot of like areas where you have to defeat all the enemies in order to get past, which is something you'll see a bit in this game, more so than the previous levels. And it can be a little difficult because these Shadow Androids are kind of annoying because they love to shoot Shadow with all their missiles.
Now, Doctor, you will tell me everything.
Shadow and Omega? Why, you traitors! You two are going to stop me? Move aside!
Doctor, please, I need to know. Those androids, the ones that look like me, am I?
Yes.
What?
You and Omega are my creations. But you betray me as you stand here before me. So now, I will destroy you both, turning you into scrap metal!
Eggman, I will defeat you once and for all.
Alright, we get our first boss fight in Eggbreaker. Shadow is an android, and now he's going to kill his master. Well, not really. There's a big debate whether Shadow is an android or not, but there's secret dialogue that tells you that he actually isn't, which is kind of obvious. I don't know why there's such a big debate in the Sonic community. Oh, it's secret dialogue, it's hidden, it should be more obvious. I mean, even in the game, it barely acts like Shadow's an android. Like, come on, people, you should know better than this. Most of the boss fights you will fight at different times in different locations throughout the run. The Eggbreaker is one of them. This guy loves to charge at you with his same attack over and over again, and Eggman loves repeating the same dialogue over and over. This neutral path version of the boss fight has you using turrets to shoot it. It's actually a little bit more difficult because it has these laser eyes, which it doesn't have in the other fights, so you need to shoot it with turrets in order for it to get down. But once you get it down, it's not too hard as long as you have a lot of guns, which you actually do. There's a lot of egg pawns and weapons easy to shoot this guy, so this one's not too difficult. You know this laser attack can be quite annoying, and he'll spam attack his charge attack constantly, so keep that in mind. The boss fights actually aren't bad in this game, but they're not too great either. They're just right in the middle.
Next time we meet, you won't be so lucky. Just you wait and see.
An android? Me? I don't believe you.
Is Omega dancing in the background? I just noticed that. What was he doing? He's doing a dance? Is he that happy that he thought Eggman died? This frame is just hilarious. Shadow's like quills look really, really dumb. Omega's dancing and Shadow's mouth looks really weird. Like what, these arms swimming through his face. What's going on here?
The pieces are coming together. This ultimate life form they keep referring to is the Black Hedgehog, and he died, and I'm its copy. I must be the android Dr. Eggman created. Then it's clear what needs to be done. Doctor! You're going straight to the place you created me from. I'll make you wish you'd never created me.
Alright, we're in the last level of the neutral era, that being Lava Shelter. Now, from the last stage, we do not have a neutral path to go on. We either have to choose the hero or villain path in order to get to the final boss. Now, for this level, the paths barely change anything, to be honest. It's pretty pointless here, but since every other path has it, the neutral path also has it. So yeah, let's go into the Lava Shelter. This is Eggman's base that was built in a volcano, and there's a bunch of lava nearby. It is a very Final Hazard-y level. Not really. I don't know why I said Final Hazard-y. The level is full of Shadow Androids and Egg Pawns and a lot of grind rails and lava below. So keep that out in mind. This level isn't very difficult, even for all the missions. But yeah, if you want to follow it, you're either going to go for Omega or Eggman. So you can help out Eggman and then fight him in the boss fight, which is kind of funny when you think about it like that. But he wants you to destroy all these generator stuff in his base in order for it not to get destroyed, I believe. Though it is much easier to take the neutral path, which is basically just the hero path, because there's a Chaos Emerald at the end, which is what Omega wants you to do.
Doctor, at last I'll hear the truth from you.
Nice to see you, Shadow Android. And you too, Omega. It certainly looks as if you've, well, done quite a bit of damage down there. But did you really think that you could challenge me?
Dr. Eggman, I will destroy you and reign supreme.
Yes, Doctor. You will regret ever having created me. You're going straight to hell.
Why, you're nothing but pieces of scrap metal. Once I'm done with you, you'll be thrown in the junkyard. You will feel my wrath.
This is the Egg Dealer, possibly the most ridiculous final boss in a Sonic game. What does the Egg Dealer do? Well, it's a slot machine that he can easily be defeated. This is the dumbest boss battle. It makes more sense to be the previous boss to even be for Eggman to be the final one for Eggman, but no, the Egg Dealer is. In fact, you fight this guy a lot, actually, not a lot paths, which makes no sense because Eggman is really only prevalent during the neutral path. And even then, it's not really that great. So essentially, all you do is hit his slot points, and sometimes a random thing will happen. There is Shadow Fever. Yes, Eggman programs Shadow Fever into his thing, which gives Shadow Chaos Blast. Eggman is that stupid. I am not joking. He's supposed to be a smart guy, but he has something that goes against his machinery. And essentially, you don't want the slots to go off by themselves, but it's super easy to hit them using your homing attack, since the homing attack works pretty well at just going straight to what it needs. So it can give you rings, or it can shoot Eggman with missiles or bombs. You don't want him to shoot you with missiles or bombs or egg pawns, but you can easily do that to him. This boss fight is super easy, and you just basically mash the homing attack button over and over again. And Eggman runs away like a little bit.
No, not Shadow Fever! Wait! Abort launch! What? No! This can't be!
Sorry, Doctor, but this is the end for you. The Chaos Emeralds.
I made you, and this is how you repay me?
I am Shadow Android, the ultimate battle life form created by Eggman. You may have created me, Doctor, but I will now lead this empire and androids will rule. This is who I am.
Eggman, target acquired. Locked and loaded, fire.
What?
Goodbye, Doctor.
So this is the ending that most people get. They see Shadow's a robot now, and he kills Eggman. Like, what kind of ending is this? Well, that was weird. Let's see what happens when we side with Eggman during the last level. Doing the Dark Mission is a little more difficult here, but not by much. You gotta destroy all these little things with a gun. There's a lot of things shooting from the side, like the Shadow Androids, which can be annoying. And there's one hidden at the very end. Well, when we hit the last one, the lava starts to rise, and you gotta do some platforming. Nothing too bad, nothing too difficult. It's a lot of fun, actually. I like these platforming challenges, personally. I'm one of those people. Parkour is the best. Well, anyway, let's see how this mission ends differently if we side with Eggman here and help him out.
The Doctor knows the truth about my existence. Nobody lays a hand on him except me.
You did very well, Shadow Android. You have surpassed expectations, equal to that of the real Shadow. Excellent. Now give me those emeralds.
Never!
What?
I didn't collect them to hand them over to you. I collected them to destroy you.
How dare you! I created you. I gave you life. I gave you an order, or have you forgotten? Idiot! Perhaps I need to teach you a lesson!
So not much has changed, actually. Even Omega comes out to fight Eggman in the final battle. So it's Shadow helped Eggman just to destroy him, which is really funny. And we have the same really dumb boss fight. It's not a bad boss fight, it's just a really weird one to be the final one.
Sorry, Doctor, but this is the end for you. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
I made you, and this is how you repay me?
I am Shadow Android, the ultimate life form, a copy of Shadow the Hedgehog. With the power of these emeralds, I will be stronger than him. This is who I am.
What?
Goodbye, Doctor.
So this is one of the worst endings where Shadow just becomes like, I'm gonna become the ultimate android and kill everybody. It's kind of lame and doesn't really have a whole lot going on with the actual story. So that was the neutral pathway. Kind of sucked. Let's see if the dark pathway is any better. In order to start the dark path, well, we can definitely start it whenever you want, but we're gonna do it the way most people are gonna do it. We're gonna start by destroying every one of the gun soldiers by helping Doom's Eye, who's a starfish, a chocolate starfish, if you will. And this is actually not too hard in this level, since there's only 35 of these guys, so killing them isn't too hard. Plus, they're very loud, and they're always shooting their guns, so finding them is pretty easy in this level, so it shouldn't be very hard for you to kill all of these gun soldiers.
Anybody who gets in my way is my enemy.
So after the gun gives a command to kill Shadow, Shadow's like, I'm gonna kill all of you, you stupid humans. Shadow meets with Black Doom's Shadow here, I guess. He's a spirit. He's like, I will help you, Shadow, if you help me in a digital world. The next level in the Dark Pathway is the Digital Circus. Sorry, it's actually the Digital Circuit, not the Digital Circus. I'm sorry. So now we're basically inside Gun's computer, and there's apparently black arms and gun beetles all over the place, because that's what's inside computers. Basically, this level is Shadow meets Tron, because that's basically what's going on. The music's trippy, there's a lot of wacky sound effects, there's a lot of weird platforming stuff. There are these high-speed wires stuff, we gotta avoid firewalls, quite literally. That's actually kind of cool, actually. I kind of like that a lot. It's an incredibly crazy and trippy level. There's actually a second level like this, only in the hero path, but this level is pretty crazy.
What a coincidence running into you here. Actually, I'm on a government assignment to track down a chaos emerald in the area.
So, you can either follow the sexy bat who wants to find a chaos emerald you're looking after, or you can help the evil starfish. So naturally, we're going to help the evil starfish. One of the weird things about this level is that there's spotlights all over the place. Now usually in games you avoid spotlights, but here spotlights help Shadow transport into the sky. There's also a pretty cool mechanic where there's these walls here that you have to spin dash up in order to get up there using momentum, and I kind of like that. There's not a whole lot of momentum based stuff in this game, but here you do have stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. Now in this path there is no neutral path, you can probably tell. There's only dark or light path. Light path takes you back to the neutral path, and the dark path continues on the dark path. So we're going to continue the dark path obviously here, and all you gotta do is climb up this tower and near the end and shoot this thing here. Luckily there's gun beetles that have guns there, so if you run out, if you don't have weapons, you can easily get them.
Whatever happens to the humans is no concern of mine.
The next level is Cryptic Castle, very similar to the Haunted Mansion level from Sonic Heroes, and it's a pretty cool level as it is.
Gosh, Shadow, I'm so glad you're here. We went into this weird-looking castle and she hasn't come back out.
So you could do the normal thing and help out Amy find cream and cheese. After all, Amy is one of my favorite Sonic characters, and she's adorable, but we're gonna be an asshole and help out Eggman. Well, I would, but there's technically a neutral pathways too, and that's the easy one to do, so we'll do that. This level has a lot of secrets in here. You gotta use torches to light paths, and you need to do that for the Eggman area, but since we're not doing that, we don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of breakable walls, and a lot of hidden ghosts. Just kidding, there's no ghosts, just a bunch of pumpkins. There's also this crazy room that's full of a bunch of Chow. Now, none of these are Cheese the Chow, which you're actually looking for in the hero pathway. Cheese is hidden in some weird wall thing. But you don't care about any of that, because Shadow, he's an asshole, and he just wants to get that Chaos Emerald. Which requires you to grind away from some weird robot that, actually, I had never had him catch up to me at all, even without avoiding the charge panel, so who really cares? Aesthetically wise, this is probably one of the best looking levels in the entire game. It's the most unique one, too. Plus, it's the only area where we actually get to use Amy as a partner, and I like Amy a lot. A lot of people don't know that. I'm an Amy stan.
The doctor's gotta be this way.
So Eggman wants to fight you no matter what here, which who really gives a shit? Eggman's a jackass. He doesn't say anything about androids during this pathway, so you're just fighting him in a pumpkin alley. This Eggbreaker fight is different than the one you face in the normal pathway. There's no turrets to hit him, so basically you just gotta collect guns or just hit him for your homing attack. He's very annoying. He'll say lights out over and over again as he tries to stomp you with his fist, and there's a bunch of egg pawns in the way, but hey, they give you guns. He'll shoot his spike bolt at you. He won't have any laser eyes though, so that makes this one actually easier to do.
Sorry, Doctor, but that Chaos Emerald is mine.
I love Amy's animation back there, it's so cute. We then get, oh, what's this? A pre-rendered cutscene. Alright! Compared to the previous Sonic game's awful pre-rendered cutscene, Shadow the Hedgehog's pre-rendered cutscenes look really, really good. Like, they actually hold up to the day's standards. In fact, some of them look better than some of the modern Sonic games are that good. During this pre-rendered cutscene only gone in Dark Pathway, Shadow is taken by Black Doom into his past to see the Ark.
I
I just can't leave everyone else behind. Please, we need to rescue the people being held by the German soldiers in the laboratory.
So yeah, we're actually getting to play Shadow's Pass in the gun building, which is pretty cool. We even have Maria as a partner, which is pretty interesting to see, since last time we saw her, she was just dead. So it's actually interesting to see their interactions a little bit. There's another level like this in the Hero Pathway too, but this one's a little different. The Doom, it's a terrible level. Let's just say that. It's probably the worst level in the game, because it's full of these narrow passageways in a maze-like environment, where everything is shooting at you, but trying to find your way, it's just incredibly annoying. And this includes taking the neutral pathway, which would usually not be that hard, but since it's such a maze of a level, it can be quite confusing. It's tight, it's very claustrophobic, it's just not the best level in the entire game, and unfortunately the Hero Pathway one is also just as bad. What makes this worse is that there's no enemies to shoot that can give you chaos control to go past certain parts of the level, which suck ass. Though if I'm being honest, this level isn't really that bad. So essentially you need to save researchers if you're playing with Maria, but then that's kind of time consuming, or shoot 60 gun soldiers if you're with the Black Doom, which is also annoying. However, you're playing a normal playthrough and just not going for all the A ranks, it doesn't matter, we're just going to go for the neutral pathway.
Mantis platoon, Heavy Dog reporting in. Primary target and the girl have been located. Acquiring targets. En route to intercept and destroy.
What the?
Please, Shadow, help me.
Humans willing to sacrifice their own when overcome by greed. They are a foolish race.
Those heartless humans! Get out of my way! Maria, I'm glad that you're safe.
So anyway, our boss fight here is Heavy Dog, and the music sounds a little familiar. Yep, for this boss fight, they used Sonic Adventure 2 boss battle music, which I guess I can't complain since the music's pretty awesome. It stands out because Shadow the Hedgehog, while it doesn't have a bad soundtrack, nothing tops Sonic Adventure 2's amazing soundtrack. And yeah, I noticed it right away, because I played Sonic Adventure 2 way too much. So essentially, this boss fight, really what you do here, you just spam the homing attack. Sometimes you can get a gun once in a while, and that helps out a little bit. But these missile shooting guns aren't as good as the fast shooting guns, so you know, whatever.
Critical damage taking the fuselage! We're losing! Ah!
How dare you harm Maria, disgusting humans, out of my sight!
Anyway, we get a cutscene where the president has to be evacuated. He's sad because he likes his picture a lot. The gun commander's like, come on, we gotta evacuate you from the city because it's getting destroyed. Actually, like this pathway where Doom's manipulating Shadow and going back to his old ways of like saying humans killed your friend. He's like, yeah, I agree with that. I kind of like that aspect. That brings us to the next level, Air Fleet. We gotta shoot down the helicopter here, or the airplane, Air Force One here, if you will, for Black Doom. But we're doing a neutral path, dark tour, so we're not going to be doing that. You gotta kill all the black arms if you're Tails here, but we're going neutral. This level's actually pretty interesting, because we're going through a gun air base, which is pretty cool, as we have to fly through the air, avoid getting killed and falling off, as well as chasing after the presidential's pod. I like this level a lot, actually. It's pretty cool in that regard. Like, actually seeing like a story element going on in the background. I mean, there's been story elements going on throughout the entire game, but I like the levels in Sonic games, and just games in general, that actually continue the story as well.
Help! We're in big trouble! The black creatures are after the president's escape pod! We've got to stop them and save the president!
And you can drive around in this vehicle! Alright! Just kidding, this vehicle sucks ass. So yeah, I would say this level is one of the best in the game. I didn't mention drifting before, but drifting is pretty basic in this game. It's nothing too excruciating. It's just like, oh, your basic stuff. You turn and Shadow goes faster, and you can hop from rail to rail. It works better than Sonic Heroes, but it's not as good as Sonic Adventure 2. This level also introduces a fan element that can push Shadow back unless he does it fast enough. You're supposed to hang on to the handrails, but just spin dash will get you through it pretty easy. However, even though we got all this stuff going on, Shadow only wants that Chaos Emerald.
I'm going to find the truth for myself. This makes 5 Chaos Emeralds.
So Shadow decides to go to the Black Comet where Black Doom is in order to find out more about his past. So this is the Black Comet, the last level of the neutral dark pathway, where essentially we have once again the option to either be a hero or a villain. Are we going to be a brave-hearted hero or a black-hearted villain?
It's going to be the final showdown, Shadow. I'll tear up this alien comet with my bare hands.
This level is a level you're actually going to be playing through multiple times, because not only do you have to play it twice if you want to get through the two arc neutral levels, but also the hero pathway has a very similar level, with pretty much a similar layout, as well as the very final level of the game having a pretty much similar layout. Essentially, you'll be riding on this thing through different goo and pathways. There's a bunch of different Black Doom enemies that teleport and move around, and tentacles and worms and all sorts of all that gooey goodness, as well as upwards paths, neutral paths, flying stuff all around you. I like how alien this entire base feels with its weird doors and stuff like that. I like this level design a lot, so I don't mind playing it through too much, plus it's not too bad. It's pretty fun. It shows you out all the enemies and a bunch of different gun options to play through, so it's pretty good. And the level here, in order to get to the hero pathway, is pretty easy. You just gotta get to the end and get that last Chaos Emerald.
Do whatever you need to, Knuckles. I've got my own reasons for being here.
So clearly after this, we're going to probably be fighting Black Doom, right? Since after all, it seems like Shadow wants to confront him.
Shadow!
Doctor?
Hand those 6 Chaos Emeralds to me, like a good boy. You were unleashed to find the emeralds. Excellent job, Shadow. You've done well. Now hand them over.
Not a chance.
What?
I need these emeralds to help me uncover my past. They're not going anywhere.
Well then, we'll just see about that. Shadow, prepare yourself.
I remember my exact shock when I saw us fighting this boss fight again, the Egg Dealer. Like, what were they thinking, honestly? Seriously, guys, we're playing the Egg Dealer here? It makes no sense. I know in this pathway so far we only met Eggman once. It was very minor at that case. We didn't even help him out. So now we're fighting Eggman again, even though this pathway doesn't really even incline that. This is because, I guess, if you take the neutral path and then you go to the dark path, this level, that kind of makes sense. But that's kind of my main problem with this game, is that sometimes it doesn't make much sense. Because so far, the dark neutral path, the correlations haven't worked, but no, they had to get fucked up. That's why I said the 3-pathway game would have worked way better for this game, and just having, without worrying about swapping through each path, so actually the storyline could be consistent. So now we're not fighting the same boss fight again.
Never show your face around me again. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
How dare you defy me?
I am Shadow the Hedgehog. I, and only I, know what is best. No one can tell me what to do. This is who I am.
What?
Goodbye, Doctor.
Anyway, let's go back in time to the Black Comet level and see what happens if we follow Black Doom's orders and kill all of these pathetic humans. Shadow seems pretty pissed off that he did not get answers to his past at all, so he's like, fuck you, Eggman, I want answers to my past and you got in the way, so I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Let the humans await their final judgment day.
Shadow, I can't let you go. Not like this.
You're the one who destroyed the Ark and killed everyone on it. It's time to settle this once and for all.
All right. I know what I have to do. I was born to bring order to the humans. These humans, they don't value life. They're going to pay with their lives for what they've done.
You?
Sonic, if you try to stop me, I'll destroy you too.
Alright, finally, we're not fighting the Egg Dealer again. This boss fight makes more sense since Gun was already there, and it makes sense for Sonic to be there as well. So yeah, no confusion here, we're just fighting this guy. This is the Gun Commander, by the way, in the mech here. The guy at the Heterochromia who said Shadow earlier. And basically all you're doing is basically mashing the homing attack at it. You actually hit Sonic and then the guy in order to hit him, which is kind of funny. Sonic doesn't do a whole lot to you here. You're mostly just fighting the main gun bot here, and it's not too difficult, though he does have a lot of shields, which can be a little annoying. Like, get rid of your shields, dude, I'm trying to hit you. He also has, like, a bitch slap attack that he does. He, like, tries to sweep away Shadow with a bitch slap, and I don't know why but I find that really funny. So this boss fight can be pretty annoying, especially since he seems to have an infinite amount of shield and all this stuff like that. And he has a bunch of more explosion attacks. It says something about getting rid of the shield, but it's not very clear how that does like that. It just randomly sometimes he'll attack, and you'll have an open time to do it. I find a lot of times just hitting Sonic first will somehow get rid of his shield. But it's kind of finicky that way. I guess it's better than the Egg Dealer, because Egg Dealer is such a weird final boss, but at the same time it is kind of annoying. Anyway, let's destroy this guy.
I am failed.
Game over, Sonic. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds. Shadow, why? Why are you siding with them? I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form born to protect and serve the Dark Lord, Black Doom. With the power of these Chaos Emeralds, this world will become the Dark Empire. This is who I am.
So yeah, Shadow is a true black-hearted villain here. Let's see what happens if we go even more evil. So in order to start the true dark pathway, you have to go back to Cryptic Castle while continuing the dark path from there. And during this path, you gotta side with Eggman and help him light up some torches. Now, it doesn't seem that hard. However, two of these guys are actually hidden. You have to go find some secrets in order to unlock certain pathways. Like lighting this torch back here in the middle pathway will find you this torch up here. This will also unlock a path where you can fly this little bat guy around the Cryptic Castle. Pretty cool. And when you see this torch near the end of the level with Chow's, you realize that it actually unlocks one of these doors, which allows you to get to the next one, where you have to do more torch lighting. This is actually kind of annoying, because I actually accidentally died here when lighting during this path, and you can't get a torch back there, so you have to restart the entire level, which sucks ass, but it's actually kind of hard to die here. I mean, I just failed miserably. But yeah, once you light all the paths, we can finally get to the dark pathway, the ultimate dark.
I'm one step closer to getting the truth from the Doctor. I will not let him interfere with my plans.
So even though we helped out Eggman, he still wants to fight us, and even Amy's here to help us out. So yeah, nothing changed much here. You're still the same boss fights before, nothing's changed. Even the cutscene before it hasn't changed. So anyway, let's get past this.
Doctor, but that Chaos Emerald is mine.
One thing that did change, though, Shadow is a part of the Black Doom army. Look, he's commanding a reign of these aliens, and Black Doom's commanding him to destroy Central City.
Must amass revenge on those humans. Unleash your anger and ultimate powers on them.
Central City is kind of an annoying level if you don't know what you're doing. There's a time limit, and you have to destroy 5 of these things. Now, if you miss this path here, and you lose it, you have to restart doing this the entire level over again. It's not hard once you know the pathways, but if you don't know about certain areas, then you will get stuck.
Hey, it's Shadow! Good timing. The black creatures have huge bombs that they're trying to set off here in the city.
So Knuckles wants us to avoid this and help out all the people fighting the aliens. So basically it's a whole war going on. There's a time limit for these bombs to go off, and Shadow has to detonate them if he wants to save the day. Well, Shadow's already detonating them with Black Doom, so that's what we're going to continue on doing. Like I said, this level can be annoying if you don't know what you're doing. Once you do know what you're doing, it's actually pretty easy. You can try doing this blind, and maybe that will help you out. I recommend looking at a guide first to figure out which is what, just so you don't have any complications. So keep in mind, there's a lot of toxic goo all over the city. I mean, this city is just getting completely destroyed at this point. Though despite all this, I do like the atmosphere of this level a lot. It's actually pretty cool. And yeah, it's a fun level once you know what you're doing.
At last, revenge.
So Black Doom brings Shadow into space. He can breathe in space. I mean, I guess we already established that, but you know. Sonic and Shadow can't breathe underwater, but they can breathe in space. Alright, so Black Doom tells Shadow that they're going to use the Eclipse Cannon against humankind by going on the Ark. Black Doom wants to use the weapon against them, because that was originally intended to kill him. Well, I guess that's a spoiler for later on. Oops. Which brings us to the next level called the Ark. Now, the Ark is more like Final Chase from Sonic Adventure 2. As you can see, it reuses a lot of level elements from that game. However, this time, we're actually on a space shooter trying to shoot these little missile turret things. I'm not sure what they're called. They're the green starfish, basically. This is definitely a very unique level, reusing assets from Sonic Adventure 2 to create something completely new, something that I'm actually quite fond of and like it quite a bit. Unlike the other missions, there is no alternate character here, it's just Black Doom, and the normal mission basically is the hero mission, where you just do not shoot the missiles, but we're doing the dark mission because we are Blackheart Evil. And there are sections where you can jump off your little fish guy, get a new one, and shoot the missiles here easier.
The Eclipse cannon is nearby. Say your prayers, you disgusting humans.
And from this, we are fighting a boss battle, the Blue Falcon, which is basically the same as the Mad Dog boss fight from the previous route. Essentially, we got a platform and we can shoot at him. And yeah, this boss fight's actually a lot easier since there's a lot more opportunities to actually hit it and spam his homing attack, if you will. So, nothing too different here than we're giving an additional platform leverage here. This guy's pretty easy. You shouldn't have any difficulty taking him down. And make sure you take out these pathetic humans.
The planet-piercing Eclipse cannon. There's no escape for you now.
We are the Black Arms. We are here to take rule of this planet. Any attempts to resist are futile and will result in death. You humans are so pathetic.
Damn you.
It is time to embrace the dawn of your demise and despair.
So yes, Black Doom just destroyed the entire city. Well, unfortunately no one died, like they said in the next cutscene. Isn't that funny? But yeah, for some reason the capital, which the president lives, is in the middle of America. For some reason. I mean, it looks like America to me. I see Michigan there. I see my state. I see California. See, the gun commander saved the president, who's all sad because his wet dream of Sonic and Shadow saving the day did not come true in this timeline.
Shadow, damn you! It's been 50 years. Justice will finally be served.
Shadow, I'm counting on you!
I know, Professor. The ultimate life form born to ensure peace and justice amongst all of mankind. Now, I know what I have to do.
We are now in the Gun Fortress. We are trying to take that Chaos Emerald back. However, will Shadow decide to become a full-hearted villain, or will he become a hero? Well, let's see what happens when he becomes a hero. In this level, there are tons of security measures against Shadow. There's tons of laser beams all over the place. And Black Doom wants to destroy all of these little command prompts that they have, creating mechs and stuff like that. There's just a lot going on in this level.
Shadow! The black aliens have broken their way through. They've got to be after the Chaos Emerald.
So Shadow sees Rouge, he gets a boner and decides that he wants to be a hero now. But that doesn't mean he's going to get into one of their mechs and still destroy the entire base, because he wants that Chaos Emerald to get that bat booty. I mean, can you blame Shadow? I mean, if you disagree with Shadow, how dare you? She can fly, she can kick ass.
I will not allow those creatures to take this emerald. Only one Chaos Emerald left.
You disobeyed my orders.
Yeah, well, I told you. No one tells me what to do. I need these emeralds to uncover the truth about my past.
Huh. What do you think vermin like you could accomplish on your own? Let me show you. Those who commit mutiny against me will see no mercy. And do not defy me again. Now, I shall put an end to your foolish attempts to defy me, and to your miserable...
So this plotline doesn't make a whole lot of sense since, you know, Shadow's only giving Chaos Emeralds to get for Black Doom, but now he's like, I want it for my own purpose, but what's going to be revealed if he doesn't get it for Black Doom? I don't get it. So there isn't much of a betrayal here, and then the Shadow just wants him for himself, because why not? Anyway, here's the Black Doom boss fight, which you usually fight during the hero path, but this time, we're going to fight him in the dark path. Oh yeah. During this boss fight, Black Doom will shout out a bunch of attacks, meteors, laser beams, all sorts of stuff as he moves around the stage. Well, after doing a lot of these attacks, he'll stay stationary. We can get a perfect shot at him using one of the guns in this stage, or using your homing attack. It can be a little tricky-dicky, but that's okay, because if you recognize his patterns, you should be able to get him down. And it's so satisfying to beat this guy to a pulp.
You traitor! Do not think that this is over.
Sorry to disappoint, but this is the end. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow. The city will forget. The Black Arms will rise again.
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form born to rule all. With the power of these emeralds, I'm going to conquer the universe. This is who I am!
So yeah, he's still a villain. He just wants to conquer the universe by himself. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's see what happens when Shadow doesn't get a boner for Bat Booty and decides to help out his alien starfish dad. In order to do this, he has to destroy 3 of these things here, which is actually pretty simple, since there's so many of these guys, you can use Chaos Blast to destroy them, and turrets, so you have plenty of opportunities, plenty of ammunition to do it.
At last, the human resistance has been crushed. Get out of my way. Shadow, I can't let you go. Not like this.
You're the one who destroyed the Ark and killed everyone on it. It's time to settle this once and for all.
Right. I know what I have to do. I was born to bring order to the humans. These humans, they don't value life. They're going to pay. Pay with their lives for what they've done.
You?
Sonic, if you try to stop me, I'll destroy you too.
So Sonic and Dabalon boss fight is basically the same as it was before, no changes here, so we'll skip to the ending.
I've got all the Chaos Emeralds. Shadow, what are you gonna do with them? I'm Shadow, the Hedgehog. I was created to bring order and justice to the humans. With the power of these emeralds, I'm going to destroy this damn planet. This is who I am.
And that was the true dark path. But hey, Shadow is not a villain. He's a true-hearted hero. So let's see the hero path. So we're going to naturally team up with Sonic and destroy all these Black Arms. After all, we don't even know Black Doom, and Sonic we met before, and he likes us. We even posed a picture of him in front of the White House, so it makes sense, you know, to help at him.
That was sweet, Shadow.
Yeah, well, I'm not here to save you.
Thought you might say something like that. How about a little friendly competition?
Don't waste my time.
The third Chaos Emerald in this city. Our mission here is done. Now get going.
Guess that means welcome to the next level. Let's go!
Get back here.
So like how Black Doom gets mad when Shadow collects the Chaos Emeralds without doing anything else. But when Shadow kills his army, he's like, yeah, Shadow, here's a third Chaos Emerald in this city. Which is pretty beat. The next level is Lethal Highway, which basically, if you clear neutral, you'll go back to the neutral pathway. But, if you want to be a hero, you gotta help Sonic destroy this weird thing that's running around the city.
Shadow, where have you been, Slowpoke? It looks like the black creatures have turned tail and ran.
So I've had to redo the stage multiple times, since every time I did this I had to be a hero, and actually getting it destroyed is actually kind of hard. The best way I find is just to kill as many enemies as you possibly can when you have off time, when it's not chasing after this guy. And when you do that, you can get Chaos, your Chaos Control, and Chaos Blast, which allows you to have infinite ammo. Perfect opportunity to shoot it even more so than you had done before. It's one of the examples of this level where if you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of annoying, but if you do know, it isn't too bad. This level also has a motorcycle, but it's actually, you have to go out of your way to get it, and it's fucking useless. Which is funny, because the motorcycle is all over Shadow's thing, and his introduction of that, but the motorcycle is basically fucking useless in this game. But oh well. Our goal is to destroy this pod, and we will be doing so right now.
I won't allow them to do what they want to anymore. Hand over that Chaos Emerald, or else.
So, think you have a chance against me, do you?
Look, I don't take orders, especially from you. but I'm not here to fight you either. I'm collecting the emeralds to find my own answers, so why don't you just back off?
You still don't know your place, do you? Black Bull, I summon you!
Woohoo! Now we're talking! Bring it on!
So this fat tub of fuck is Black Bull. It doesn't look like a bull to me, but you know. This guy's actually not too hard. It's actually a pretty good boss fight where you gotta hit it in his green eye, which is his obvious weak spot. Sonic's like, I wonder what his weak spot is. Well, maybe it's that big green eye there. Anyway, there's different ways to beat this boss battle. For one, you can do a homing attack thing into these bats in order to get in his eye, or you can go around the corner, find some of the black arms just hanging around, hit them, and get their guns. So this is a pretty fun boss fight, and it's nice. I like fighting this guy. He's a tub of fuck, and he's fun to take the tub of fuck down.
Out of my way, alien monster. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
I like how the mad Shadow is during the hero path. Like, he's like, oh, where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Like, what the fuck happened?
Hey, Shadow! Look at this! Eggman's collected rings from all around the world and has built this theme park. What do you say? How about the two of us take all these rings back?
So this is Circus Park, an amusement park that Eggman built where he stole a bunch of rings, which is, I like that little detail. Like, he purposely stole these rings. That's how Eggman is able to afford all this stuff. He makes casinos, and he steals rings. I love it. So if you want to complete the hero mission, all you gotta do is collect 400 rings, which sounds like a lot, but actually there's plenty of opportunity to collect copious amounts of rings. So it's pretty fun. It's a classic, collecting rings, and this level has a pretty neat aesthetic. Now the other path has you signing up with Eggman, who wants you to take out the 20 gun soldiers who happen to be here. But we really don't care about that. We're just going to be looking for that damn fourth Chaos Emerald, which is all the Shadow cares about, obviously, based on that cutscene. So let's go get that Chaos Emerald.
Sorry, but this Chaos Emerald is mine.
So Shadow, once finding his damn fourth Chaos Emerald, sees that the Chaotix are working on a computer in Eggman's little warehouse here. And they're having a struggle doing this, so Shadow decides that he's going to help them out.
Well, what a coincidence. I'd like to know what the good old doctor's up to as well.
So Shadow solves their computer problems by just karate chopping it, because that's what Shadow does. Anyway, he jumps into the computer's mainframe and SBO goes along with him.
Shadow, thanks for your help earlier. Actually, I need to extract some data out of Eggman's database.
So Eggman's computer is very similar to Gun's computer we played earlier. This is Mad Matrix, and it is a little bit more annoying in that level, since you guys shoot these switches in order for them to unlock stuff, which isn't too bad. However, there are also these wires we go through, but we actually have to choose different pathways, and it's kind of complicated if you don't know what you're doing. I used a guide to figure this out because I was very confused about which way was the neutral pathway, which is what I was taking the entire time. Black Doom is also here. He wants you to do something, but who the fuck gives a shit about Black Doom? We're only caring about getting that Chaos Emerald out of this computer. Doing other pathways is kind of annoying since it takes a while. It's really not worth it. Do you really want to destroy all the rocks or you want to help out SBO? No, it doesn't really matter that much. We're just going to go to this red area, which will take us to what we actually want to get, which is just a normal go ring. I guess there is no Chaos Emerald here, so I guess Shadow is in this level for no reason.
What a waste of my time.
You said it.
So, I see you sneaky rats are back again, huh?
Damn, we've been detected.
Doctor, please tell me. I need to know about my past. Who am I? What am I doing here?
Are you still wondering who you are, Shadow? There's nothing to tell, Shadow. You have no past.
What?
Don't listen to him. He's just trying to trick you. You've got to focus. Destroy him and let's get out of here.
So this is the Egg Breaker boss again. We fought this guy multiple times, and now we have an upper area where we can get some free guns. Yeah, it's the same boss fight, so nothing much to say here.
I have no past. What do you mean by that, Doctor?
So randomly, Sonic comes up to Shadow in this giant thing that has Tails' plane attached.
What's up, Shadow?
Not you again.
Nice to see you too. Looks like those black creatures are headed out to space. We're on our way to the Ark, so I guess that means we're going too.
Ark.
Come on, let's roll. Next stop, the Ark.
Shadow has an existential crisis looking at the Ark, like this place is familiar. So what does Sonic do? He just acts like a cheesy asshole.
Ah, yeah! Bring it on! Looks like the party's getting started. Time to rock and roll! You up for this, Shadow?
Anyway, we're on the outskirts of the Ark, but this time we're actually running through it and not on a random thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We got all these weird gravity stuff, and basically, if you want to do the hero path, you gotta raise Sonic, which is actually pretty easy to do, because in order to do the neutral path, well, you gotta get the Emerald without beating him, but I find it easy to beat him, so you know. Anyway, Black Doom's like, destroy these missiles like he wants you to do in the previous old mission, but we're not doing that. We're neutral right now. Despite reusing assets from Sonic Adventure 2, this level feels pretty fresh and new. It is fresh, that's all I can say. So yeah, in order to do the neutral mission, you can't get this Chaos Emerald before Sonic. You have to be slower than him in order for it to work, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. The level can be difficult for those who just don't know, but hey, if you figure out the mechanics at this point, then you should have no trouble going through this stage. There's lots of different platforming elements, as well as bottomless pits, so that can be very difficult for some players.
Score 1 Chaos Emerald for the good guys! Sorry there, Shadow, old buddy!
Damn it! What does it all mean? The Ark. Will I ever find the rest of my memories here?
So during this path, Shadow's having an existential crisis because he's not getting very clear details about anything. That is until...
It's been a long time, Shadow. Who are you? And how do you know my name?
I know you, Shadow the Hedgehog. You killed everyone I loved. My family, Maria. I've been waiting all my life for this day.
What? Me? And Maria?
So for some reason, the gun commander used to like to spank his ass. No, seriously, what the fuck's going on here? Why is he slapping his own ass? Oh, here's a retcon. He was best friends with Maria, apparently, on the Ark. He was there the day that the Ark got destroyed by Gun, and for some reason believes that Shadow was responsible for it all because he's a fucking idiot. Because one time he looked into this lab as a little kid with giant fucking eyes and saw that Black Doom was making Shadow of Gerald Robotnik and like, whoa, this thing looks fucking evil, I hate this thing, I'm scared, I'm pissing my pants, look at how scared I am. But this is important to showcase that Gerald Robotnik used Black Doom's help to create Shadow the Hedgehog as the ultimate life form, which is a new detail that we didn't know before. Holy shit.
Finally, justice is served!
If what you say is true, then I will respectfully accept my fate.
You mean to tell me that you really don't remember a thing?
But I just need some time to uncover the real truth.
So now we're on one of the most annoying levels of the game, Cosmic Fall. And this really is a fall. You're going to be waiting for a lot of this level in order for these platforms to collapse and then go to the next one. It's kind of annoying, and there's a time limit. The time limit matters that much.
Now if it isn't Shadow! We got to make it to the computer room before this place collapses!
So Vector here wants us to find the computer room, which becomes his catchphrase for Sonic fans, because he says it so ridiculously. As we all know, what they're doing in the end is that Hedgehog needs to go do some computer research for their mission, and Shadow's going to help them out. You know, what is Vector doing here in this very dangerous area? The world may never know. So Cosmic Fall is kind of an annoying level. It's actually easier to do the Dark mission, but we're going to do the Hero mission because that's what I've been doing for the most of this game, so yeah, whatever. There are plenty of annoying platforming challenges as well as a lot of enemies, so I've happened to die a lot on this level. It's very annoying, especially if you want to do the Hero path here, because you go all the way to the end of the level, and you see the ring right there, which seems easy to do, but no, you actually got to avoid it and go to the platform to the right. And I didn't know this platform existed, so I thought you had to do a wall jump here on top, and accidentally fell down twice actually, and had to redo the entire level. It sucked. Anyway, if you go the other way, you get to go on this platform thing, you know, and try to jump all the way back up using this mech in order to find that beloved computer room.
For what reason do I exist? The answers are just up ahead.
What is this defiance?
Black Doom, I need to know the truth. Am I the one the humans refer to as the evil one? Tell me. I need to know.
It is true. I created you. You are a part of me.
Shadow! You okay?
If that's true, then I'll have to accept my responsibilities for my crimes. I will avenge the victims who died aboard the Ark on that tragic day.
The humans seem to have convinced you of this absurdity. Therefore, I have no choice but to kill you too.
Anyway, we're going through another Black Doom boss fight. It's pretty much the same as before, all the same techniques, just a different aesthetic, so let's go on to the final ending.
This is what I must do for my atonement. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, this isn't over yet. The Black Arms will rise again.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog, a research experiment gone deadly wrong. I've caused so much destruction. I should never have been created. This is who I am.
Hey, don't go there! Yet, things may not be what they seem. You could be.
You gotta love this very edgy ending. It is one of my favorite ones, though it is funny that the goofiest side character, Vector, had to be right there. And his voice actor in this game is incredibly goofy. Like, I prefer the previous one much more. He's like, Shadow, don't go there! Yet! Like, let's see what Shadow killed himself. Anyway, I like this ending. Anyway, let's go back to Cosmic Fall and see what happens if we just get the Chaos Emerald and not go to the computer room.
Shadow!
Doctor?
Hand those 6 Chaos Emeralds to me, like a good boy. You were once a great invention from my grandfather's past, but this is my time. Give me the Chaos Emeralds, and I will spare your life.
Doctor.
What?
This is something I must do on my own. I must uncover the truth. I made a promise to all the victims aboard the Ark.
This is nonsense. You will obey me, or there will be dire consequences.
So yeah, we are just fighting Eggman again. It's the same boss fight as before, but this time Vector's here.
Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
You ungrateful little pest. Have you forgotten that it was my grandfather who created you?
I am Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, born and raised aboard the Ark. I shall live on. I am the protector of the Ark. I am living proof of the ultimate life form. This is who I am.
What?
Leave now and never return. I won't allow anyone to violate the sacred Ark.
See, I actually like the neutral hero endings. They're subdued and they're very bittersweet, but they work for me. And this time Eggman didn't die, so that's good for him. He should be happy. But let's see what happens when Shadow becomes a true hero. This time it's going to help Tails collect 400 rings, because that's what a true hero does. He stops fraud billionaires trying to take advantage of others who are less fortunate. Getting 400 rings isn't too hard here. We got a lot of opportunities to shoot balloons that give you a bunch of ring bonuses depending on how much you shoot them. So that's nice.
Sorry, Doctor. I got no time for games.
This will then take Shadow to the Death Ruins, which, you know, is a level that's in ruins.
Hey, Shadow. Gun has driven the black aliens into this jungle. Do you want to join me in helping Gun round up the last of them?
Shadow sees Bat Booty and decides that he wants a piece of that, so he's going to help Rouge kill all the aliens. There is an easier way to beat the level, but that takes you up back to the neutral hero pathway, and we're not going to do that. That's just going to the goal ring. So essentially this level is similar to previous levels, but this time it's more rainforesty in these ruins, you know. All the gun people and Black Arms are all here. But, you know, Shadow, like I said, he sees a piece of Bat Booty and he wants it. During this grinding part, you actually have to jump off if you want to get all the Black Arms, just to let you know. Near the end of it, you see this little area to the left here. You want to go down in this area only and get some hidden Black Arms guys here. Don't worry about the plants, they're not Black Arms, they're just weird plants, so, you know.
I won't let you get away with trying to invade this planet. Having a little trouble with those gun agents, are we?
What a pitiful bunch.
What'd you say?
We're not here to exterminate these poor creatures. On the contrary.
What? What is he talking about?
What are you saying?
All will be revealed tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Shadow, you should rest. You need to be ready for tomorrow's ritual.
You scum! You're going down!
So we're fighting Black Bull with Rouge, and it's basically the same as before, but now there's a rail. And not only that, but there's an infinite spawning army of aliens, meaning that you can get infinite ammo, basically, to shoot this guy. So this boss fight is even easier than it was before. Shadow then sees Sonic again in the same exact cutscene as before, but this time we're in the correct area. But this time, the more heroic Shadow decides he wants to steal a Chaos Emerald from them.
Chaos Emerald? You've got to be kidding me, guys. This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
This, for some reason, makes Shadow have a flashback, and he goes back into the past.
Maria?
Please, Shadow, I need your help. My grandfather's experiments. Something's gone horribly wrong.
What is it?
The research lab. It's going to be destroyed. Something must be done. Please, Shadow, I beg you. Help Grandfather and those aboard the Ark. Please.
I'll be there, Maria. I swear. Whatever it takes. I'll take care of the Ark and the Professor.
The experimental monsters are in here. They're on a rampage.
So this is Lost Impact, which has a pretty good music, but it's like the Doom level, where we're stuck in the Ark and it's claustrophobic, but this time, you have to kill all the artificial chaoses, which are 35, and some of them are hidden, and it's a very annoying level. It takes forever. Trust me when I said I was here for 35 minutes, that's how long this level is. It is annoying. Honestly, narratively speaking, it would make more sense for this level and this pre-cutscene to be in the neutral hero storyline, but whatever. This is probably the worst level in the game. It's not horrible, it's just way too time-consuming. Just have fun shooting chaoses on your turret.
As I promised you, Maria, I will protect the Professor and the Ark. Maria!
Please, Shadow, I need your help. Everyone's fate depends on you.
Maria!
Then Shadow wakes up randomly running with Sonic. Remembering his promise to Maria, he decides he's going to be a true-hearted hero.
Shadow, what's wrong?
I think you're right. I feel it. They're up there. That's where the answers are. I've got to get to that comet.
So, Shadow, now remembering his past, decides that he's going to keep his promise to Maria and protect humanity. So that's why...
Shadow, the humans have somehow detected our comet's presence.
Shadow is going to go with Black Doom, because he is a villain now. Anyway, the Black Doom pathway is quite different in this level. For example, you'll be hitting some enemies, and that causes you to go on these little, these little bat rides, which takes you to different parts of the level. So we've seen Black Doom's Comet before, but this level takes us through unique pathways through it, through both paths. Like I said, the villain path takes you through a lot of these air travel traversable things in order to unlock 4 of these command units, or where the hell they are. Shadow has now betrayed his promise to Maria and his friends. What a lovely guy.
I will not allow anyone to set their hand on Black Doom.
Shadow, why are you siding with those black creatures?
Siding with them? You're joking, right? I'm just siding with whoever goes up against you. This time you're going down, Sonic.
But if that's how it's gonna be, Shadow, then bring it on!
Just say when.
So this is the boss fight we already fought before multiple times, but this time Shadow's doing it because he wants to be a complete dick to Sonic. He's like, I'm just going against whoever sides with you, even though I've been helping you the entire playthrough. Yeah, whatever, it's stupid, but it's funny.
It's do or die, Sonic the Hedgehog. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
Man, I didn't think you had it in ya.
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, and now I am the most powerful hedgehog in the world. The power of these emeralds makes me invincible. I am the ultimate hedgehog. This is who I am.
So apparently during this path, Shadow only cares about becoming the ultimate hedgehog, whatever the hell that means, by proving himself against Sonic. It's stupid, but it's kind of funny. Let's go to the actual ending. The hero version of the final haunt requires Shadow to use his weird-ass gun to make platformers move in order for him to go through certain areas, since they're blocked off for him to use. So this level requires a lot more platforming, but luckily you can get Chaos Control and just warp past a lot of the level. Your actual main goal is to look for these Black Doom ghosts and finally find Black Doom himself so you can confront him in the final battle.
So we meet at last, Black Doom. You're the one responsible for all this filth.
You've done well, Shadow. I'm very impressed you made it this far.
Black Doom, your rule ends here, and it ends now! So you're behind all this. Like it or not, the game's over!
Fools. The Black Arms are more than superior. We are perfect. Do you really think you have any real chance of defeating us?
It's you who should be scared, Black Doom. I made a promise to Maria to save the planet she loved so much, and I will!
Then get ready to die. Let me show you the ultimate power in the universe.
So we once again have the Black Doom boss fight, which hasn't changed at all, except there's no guns now. Well, actually there is. There's less guns. Anyway, so it's basically the same as before. There's nothing new to say here, so let's get on to the final ending.
Maria loved this planet. I will not let you destroy it. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, this isn't over yet. The Black Arms will rise again.
Let's do this! I'm Shadow the Hedgehog, and I made a promise that I intend to keep. With the power of these emeralds, Black Doom and his army are finished! This is who I am!
So this is basically the true ending, since Shadow remembers his entire past, really. But hey, once we did all 10 ending storylines, we get one final one. The final story shows that Black Doom's like, yeah, give me those Chaos Emeralds, we planned this all along. It doesn't tell you what ending was true or not, just all the endings are true, basically. Which makes no sense, but whatever. All the other Sonic characters comment, and it's like, Shadow, help us defeat Black Doom! And even Eggman's there, I guess he teamed up with the rest of them. So Black Doom wants to use the Eclipse Cannon, as I've stated before, to destroy the entire planet, and actually use the humans as his food. Not really destroy it, but he's like, humans suck, I want them to be my brain food, I'm gonna release toxins in the air and make everyone free. So using all the emeralds, he uses Chaos Control to warp his Black Comet into the atmosphere, which he couldn't do before without the Chaos Emeralds, and now he's gonna use the life force of the planet to feed his army. Yeah. I think it would have been more interesting if Black Doom was actually a previously experiment on Alien, like in the Sonic comics. They did this storyline that was kind of interesting, and I feel like it would have worked better for his backstory, but whatever. So a really goofy segment happens when there's toxins released in the air, which makes the characters freeze, and it looks really stupid, since we don't even see these quote-unquote toxins, we just see them freeze in place, which looks kind of dumb.
Rock ball!
Knuckles! What's wrong?
This is just an excuse to have Shadow fight the boss by himself, I guess, but they also can still talk, but it's just stupid. Couldn't they just do something better? And then these little things are like, they're gonna eat you guys as you freeze, but Shadow's like, fuck that.
I will avenge those whose blood
Did
I gave you
die?
life, Shadow!
That's why you were created.
Please help me, Shadow.
Shadow the Hedgehog. I've left the past behind me. No one can tell me what to do now. I will destroy you, Black Doom!
I gave you life, and this is how you repay me? The irony of it all is I gave you life. Now, I'll take it back.
So all the other guys are like, we'll help you by cheering on the sideline. Anyway, our main goal now in the last level, which is basically just recycled elements from the other Black Comet levels, just slightly harder. And you have to build up your Chaos Control Mirror by destroying all of them, too. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this level. It's timed, but it's nothing too difficult since it's pretty much all the same level elements we've seen before. Just gotta keep killing those enemies with their own guns and stuff like that. And yeah, Shadow decides he's gonna go destroy Black Doom. So that's why I think the hero endings were the actual canon ones, but oh well. Yeah, that's how the level ends for this level. He just, like, stares at the camera. Yeah. So, Black Doom sees Shadow. He's like, my blood runs through your veins, so I'm going to control you now, bitch. I guess he could have done this the entire game, but he decided not to until now. Yeah, Black Doom, you're not very smart. Meanwhile, the Chaotix who've been deprogramming a computer have finally found the file they've been looking for. It's a secret message that he left for Shadow if everything went wrong. You see, he made a mistake by teaming up with Black Doom, and he made the Eclipse cannon in order to combat him. And that's why the military shut him down in the first place. So yeah, that's why he built a giant cannon. It's a retcon. But yeah, everyone sees it as like, wow, Shadow was actually a hero, even though he tried to kill us that one time. But wow, he was a hero! So yeah, he put stuff into Shadow to help combat Black Doom. This is before he decided to kill everybody, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
Shadow, it's up to you, and only you can stop them. I developed the Eclipse Cannon. It's the only weapon that can destroy that black comet. Shadow, you are the only hope to save mankind as we know it. The future of this planet depends on you.
Don't worry, Grandfather. Shadow and I will protect this planet. Right, Shadow?
Gerald, you fool. Shadow is already in my control. What's this? Well. Seems like you're immune to my mind control.
You have no control over me, Black Doom. I now understand why I am here. I made a promise and I'm here to keep it. Today, I put my past behind me.
Have it your way, Shadow. So be it. Be prepared to meet your maker. Your past, present, and future ends here, today. Prepare to die. Say goodbye, Shadow, as you witness my true wrath.
Yes, that was Live and Learn that played in the background as Shadow turned super, and that was cool.
I give you life, and yet you defy me. Say it. You shall pay for your gratitude.
So here's the final boss of Shadow the Hedgehog, Devil Doom. And no, just a random alien monster that you just had in space. It's not a super form, at least where I'm aware. And he's not even really Black Doom, it's just his eyeball that's transforming to one part of it to the other. I Am All Me plays in the background mostly for all the giant chaos spear sounds and all this other crap going on. It's kind of hard to hear. But this works as basically any other super battle. A, makes Shadow go up in the air, and B, he's able to shoot chaos spears and charge them up to do heavier damage, as well as look for rings because he's running out of rings, you know, like always. Black Devil Doom will try to teleport around the stage if you get too close to him, and stuff like that. The biggest gimmick about this one is that his eye transfers to one of his head to the other, and you gotta shoot his eye, because that's him, if you remember correctly. So yeah, he's here on the backside, and every time you hit it, it goes to the other one. This boss fight can be kind of tricky-dicky, but basically what you want to do is make sure you charge up your attack. Black Doom will try to throw stuff at you and try to block himself with his wing. Just make sure you charge up and make sure you collect enough rings early on, because later on it's hard to find rings. Alright? Fortunately, I found this boss fight more annoying than fun. It's not the worst boss fight. It's fun, you know, but definitely could have been structured a bit better, especially with the ring management system. It gets pretty annoying to actually be able to shoot the rings with your Chaos Spear attack. But oh well.
Impossible. I am the supreme being that rules this universe. I am the immortal life form. I am the ultimate power.
This is the end of you, and the end to my cursed past. One thing left to do.
Put the past behind me. Chaos Control! Shadow, that was sweet!
I hope he's okay.
I'm sure he's fine, Rouge. After all, he is Shadow.
How about giving me back those Chaos Emeralds now? Hey! Get back here, you creep!
This has been weird happens. The gun people are all celebrating, and the gun commander cries like a little bitch. And the president's like, "We will honor General Robotnik even though he tried to kill us that one time." Which is really fucking stupid. You're sure he was a gray character, but doesn't mean he deserves to be honored, especially after he tried to kill humanity in Silent Witcher 2, but whatever, we'll forget about that, because he helped save us from those aliens.
Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Now, what does that ending mean? I don't know. Shadow put his past behind him, whatever that is. He's moving on. He's going to keep his promise to Maria. You remember that all. The thing is a reference to Silent Witcher 2, as the last line was, "Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog," in the same exact room, but now he's like, "Goodbye, Shadow. I survived, bitch." And this credits play, and they play, never turn back, and then you're realizing that Shadow the Hedgehog is quite the adventure. Shadow the Hedgehog has obvious problems, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. In fact, I quite enjoy it. I hope you can see why. It's very cheesy, and sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's kind of the appeal of the game. It definitely could have been a lot better, and there's definitely routes they could have taken to make it so it wouldn't have been bad. Only quite adjustments would have made this game, well, considered one of the good ones. But unfortunately, its reputation that it's bad. And that is, unfortunately, what most people think about this game. There's some other little things about Shadow the Hedgehog I should mention before we get into some of the later stuff, like these weird keys. For the level, you'll find 5 keys in each level, and they'll unlock these secret doors here. And what do? Well, they give you stuff, I guess. Find that there's keys are all over the levels, so it's really not worth doing it, but it does keep it saved to the next level. So you want this random car, you can have it. They are pretty much pointless, but they are fun to collect, and they don't even add over to the main collectible opponent. It's just something that you can just do as a bonus thing. So there you go. If you decide to reset the game, meaning all A ranks and all 3 alternate versions, or 12 alternate versions of each of the levels and boss fights, which is 71 A ranks in case you're wondering, you get unlocked Expert Mode, similar to the hard mode in Sonic Heroes, but a little bit more different. Essentially, there's a bit of a story to this one, is that Shadow decides to go into a bit of training in a virtual world, recreates all the levels of Shadow the Hedgehog, but harder. And the cool thing about that is that each of the hint bubbles are given by all the characters from the game, including ones that are previously against you. Characters that you haven't really seen before, really, like Cream the Rabbit or the Gun Commander, can also give you hints, which is actually kind of cool. A lot of the story elements are also pretty much gone here, since there's no alternate collecting many things. It just beat the levels as is, and each of the levels come in order now rather than choosing whatever order you want it to be. So that's kind of interesting. If you're a big fan of Shadow the Hedgehog, then this is a cool collectible for you. I didn't do this personally, but it does seem like a nice little reward for you, especially since, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog is so different, so actually giving a straightforward way of playing every levels all at once, without having to worry about alternate pathways like that, definitely seems like a good reward to me. Like previous Sonic games, there's also a 2-player mode. This allows you to choose between Shadow, Orange Shadow, or Robot Shadow. Nowhere near as in-depth as the previous Adventure 2, or even Heroes for that matter, where basically all you do is go in 3 different combat stages as either one of the shadows, and you shoot each other, basically. And that's it. Nothing too great good here. It's pretty lame, actually.
Are you ready to admit your own foolishness?
That is all for all the main elements of Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game. As I mentioned before, I do actually end up growing to like this game while playing through it. And if you are skeptical, I recommend giving it a little bit more of a chance. But especially if you like Shadow or this era of Sonic, you won't be disappointed, I feel like. Though maybe you will hate it, but who the hell knows. It's a game that I ended up enjoying, and I cannot wait to replay it. Maybe I'll even go for the 100% run. We will see. This game was mostly ignored from most of Sega's runtime, now having any of the Black Arms or any of the backstory from this game, including the Gun Commander or anything returning. That's until and very recently, when Shadow got Doom power. And now, he can fly now. Not much is known about this game's connection with that, but I will be covering it at a future date, probably way later, but maybe I'll cover it when I actually get to play it, because I cannot wait to play this thing. It looks fucking awesome. Shadow the Hedgehog has actually gone up in value a lot, especially the GameCube version. 68 complete for 42 loose. It is cheaper on the other consoles. Take a look at the PS2 version, which is like way lower than the GameCube version. However, much like Sonic Heroes, the GameCube version does run better than the PS2 and Xbox version. Mostly, the PS2 version runs a lot worse, so it's a lot cheaper. As you can see, the Xbox version is more pricey than the PS2 version because more people want to play this version because it runs better. And I probably should mention this, Shadow the Hedgehog has not been re-released for any modern consoles, so unless you want to emulate it, this is the only way you can play this game. Though this parent fun pack exists, that's just a box that contains Shadow and Sonic Mega Collection, the greatest hits on PS2. But yeah, that's about it.
Earth faces its darkest hour. Only one force can turn the tide. His name is Shadow the Hedgehog. Will he fight for good or for evil? Hero or villain? You decide. Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game, out November 18th.
This is the Sonic tier list as it stands. Shadow the Hedgehog's at the top of B tier. Almost put an A tier, but I was like, it doesn't quite get there. Oh, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But I did end up enjoying it quite a bit, and I thank you for watching this video. The next video will probably come later, but it really depends on how much you guys will like this video. This took a lot to do. I remember why I took a break, because these videos take a long time to make. But I want to talk about every aspect of these Sonic games, because I love talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and all the franchises. Had fun playing Shadow the Hedgehog, and I had fun making this video, though, even though it did take a while. Next game, I think, is Sonic Rush, which I think actually came out before Shadow the Hedgehog. But we'll see. Anyway, I probably won't be coming on anytime soon. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. So, yeah, like I said, if you want me to do more of these videos faster, you can always give me money. That's a Patreon link in the channel description. Hey, did you know I have a book? In fact, I have multiple books. They're available on Amazon. There should be a link in the description. However, I do have the digital versions on my Patreon, so if you want to support me and read what I have written, they're mostly kids' books, but you might enjoy it. After all, we all like SpongeBob, or whatever your video you're watching. I might reuse this clip. Then you can make sure to check it out. And thank you.